thanks for joining me to color. Today we are going to be working on this cute Stampin' Bella image called Pippa Loves to Plant. Isn't she cute? The stamp also comes with a little sentiment here, so you get that. And it is unmounted, so I went ahead and tossed a piece of Easy Mount in the kit so that you can go ahead and mount your stamp and have fun coloring. I will put a link down in the description box to the card kit and all the supplies I used. I would love for you to come shopping with me. Also, if you have a question, make sure and leave me a comment and I will get back to you. Otherwise, I have already stamped my image on Neenah 80-pound Solar White cardstock with Memento Tuxedo Black ink. So let's color. So let's start out by outlining our image, and today we are going to do a dotty background, and for that we're going to use BG01, 000, 000, and our colorless blender. I'm going to start with my BG01, and I'm going to do some little dots over here on this side of my girl. And I'm going to try to keep my dots kind of close to her body. And maybe up here. And then this leg on the inside, we're going to do some dots. And the faster you go, the smaller the dots will be. The slower you go, the bigger your dots will be. And I don't really care about that. I'm just kind of dotting along. And then let's do a little bit underneath for shirt. And then I'm going to go up here and I'm going to do again a little bit underneath of her arm and maybe some in here where this flower isn't at. And I'm trying to keep it kind of in a shadowy area. So we're going to do some right over here by this little glove and a little bit underneath of her pants here. Then we are going to grab BG000 and we're going to start, well, let's start over here. We'll start over here on our plant. So on my plant, I'm just going to dot around, and I'm trying to keep it kind of close to my stuff. I don't want to go way out here. I did that the first time I colored her, and it looked silly. So I'm going to keep it a little closer. We'll go down here, and we're going to work our way up this way. Well, let's go back. I'm going to go back down. So we'll go down this way. And we're going to go around our pot, our watering can. And we're going to put a few in here. And then let's go around this way. And I'm not going to worry about this butterfly out here because my sentiment is going to cover that up. So I didn't even bother coloring him. If you're going to move your sentiment out a little bit so you can see the butterfly, make sure to color him in. So we're going to go all the way around, dot, dot, dot. And I try to keep my pen kind of straight up and down, and I don't mush my pen onto the paper. I just barely touch it. Sometimes I hold it there a little bit longer if my hand gets tired. And it makes bigger dots, but I don't care about that. And let's do this pot over here. And I'm going to kind of do a few inside of the leaves here too, because it's kind of a sparsely leaved plant, so you can kind of see through the leaves. And we'll go back over here around to this one. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing with our BG000. So we're just going to go around, dot, 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 dot. And I don't care if the dots hit other dots. I'm just quickly going around and the whole girl, adding a few. Maybe a few in here between the bucket. And you can add more dots if you want, less dots if you would like. Totally up to you. Back over here, and then again I'm going to do a few in between these leaves too, and I don't worry that I maybe touched a few of the leaves because this color is so light that you are not going to see it very much. Okay, so we're going to go all the way around, and then we're going to take our colorless blender, and this will work best if it's full or it has some ink in there, not dry. And I'm just going to wipe it back and forth over all the dots and onto the image That's why we did it first, so we don't have to worry about messing up our coloring. And this will kind of spread those little dots out and blend them in with the paper. And we're going to go all the way up here, and then all the way back down the other side. And then, of course, we got to go around this plant. And then you've got, let's see if I can pick it up here. You've got a bunch of little dots going around our girl. Let's do the skin and her cheeks next. For her skin, we're going to use E21 and E00 because there's not too much to color there, so we only need 2. And then for cheeks, we're going to use R12 and R11. So I'm going to start with my E21. And let's do right up here with a small line underneath of her shorts, or the ruffle on her pants here. And then I'm going to go down the inside of this leg, and then down the inside of this little leg. And it's pretty skinny, so you're going to just barely use the tip of your pin. And I'm going to do the bottom of her toes there. And then for this leg, we're going to do the ends, the bottom of this leg, or the back, and then I'm going to do a little bit on her knee cap right there. And then I'm going to bring it down the front of her leg because it's up in the air, and I want this to have more light. And we're going to go down here, do her foot, and then I'm going to take my E00, and I'm just going to fill it in. So I want to make sure to touch down on top of my E21 so I can soften that edge. And then we're just going to go down here, clear down. And again, it's pretty small, so be careful. And then this leg. Do a little more, another swipe up here. I got a line there. Okay, and then we're going to hop up here and we will do her arm. So for her arm, let's do right next to her body. So be careful, there's a little ruffle right here. So we'll go right next to the little ruffle and then down her arm. And there's part of her shirt showing right there, so we'll kind of bump out around that. Go on the underside of her arm. And then again, we'll fill it in with our E00. And then we'll go up here and we will add some to her neck. So again, we've got E21. And then I'm going to make my shadow over here on her shirt. And then for her face, I'm going to do her ear and around her little hairline here. And then come down a little bit onto her cheeks. And then I'm going to fill it in with my E00. And then I'm going to add a little bit of cheek color, so we're going to grab R12. And let's just do some little circles. And I'm just going to pounce it up and down a little bit. And then I'm going to do R11. I'm just going to lightly go around the edge of that R12. And then I'm going to take my E00, and I'm just going to wipe across the whole thing just to soften it a little bit. And I think I'll do a little bit more down here on her chest area. For her hair, let's use E74, 97, and 30. I'm going to start with my E74. And let's do, I'm just going to do some little waves. So let's start over here and do a little bit of squiggly lines in there. And she's got some hair that comes away from her face, so I'm going to go ahead and do those. Just do some little squiggles. And then let's do some little squiggles over here. She's got a little bit of hair poking out. And maybe a little bit in here. And then over here. And then I'm going to add a little bit of squiggles of my E97. And I'm going to go over some of the E74 I already put down. And then I'm going to fill in the rest with my E30. I'm just going to brush over the whole area and kind of smush those colors together and fill in the white space. For her shirt, we're going to use R89, 24, and 05. And let's do a little bit. She's got an apron on, but there's little bits of her shirt showing. So let's do a little dab right here of our R89. And then I'm going to add R24. And let's do a little bit on this little, she's got some little ruffle right here, so I'm going to touch down on that. Just kind of dab it on there. I don't want it to bleed out all over the paper. And there's a ruffle over here. And then she's got a little bit of her chest sticking out from this apron, so I'm going to color this little bump in. And then again down here, she's got a little bit of her shirt showing around the apron. So let's do a little brush of color along there. And then I'm going to do R05. So let's fill in this little tiny dab. And then a little bit down here. Then we're also going to use these colors on the gloves. So let's grab R89 and we're going to do, let's do this. No, let's turn it this way. Let's do these little fingers right over here first. So I'm just going to give each little finger a little dot of color there at the end. And then I'm going to add R24. I'm going to go ahead and fill this side in. And then for this glove, we're going to do our R89. And we're going to do, I'm not worried about the dots on this glove. I'm just going, whoops, wrong one. R89, we want the darkest one. I'm not worried about these dots. I'm just going to paint right over the top of those. And then here where her fingers curl into her palm, I'm going to color it in. Then we're going to add R24. A little bit to our fingers. And then we'll finish it off with our R05. For her shorts, we're going to use B99, 97, and 34. I'm going to start with B99. And I'm going to go underneath of her apron. I'm going to color in these pockets. And then for her pant legs, we're going to go down the line of her pant leg. And then I'm going to give a little bit of definition there. Then I'm going to add B97. Go down the side. Brush along this line. And down this side. And then we want to soften this. And then we're going to fill in the rest of it with our B34. And then I left the ruffles on her pants white. And I'm also going to go back. I'm going to go back with my B99 and draw this line back in. Let's hop down here and do her sandals. For that, we're going to use C7. And there's not much there, but we're going to color just a little dab. There's a little strap right here. And then I'm going to color the sole. And it's really small, so just barely touch the paper with the tip of your pen. Need to touch a little harder. It wasn't coloring anything. And then over here, we're going to do this shoe. she's got the top of her sandal. Let's go up here and we'll do her hat and her apron next. So we're going to use YR12, YR21, and Y32. And then for the accents on the apron, we're going to use R24. So let's go ahead and start up here at her hat with our YR12. And let's do right along the back here. And down, and then I'm going to bring color up here on this line. And then I want to give it a little line over here. A little fold. And then I want to add YR21. So we're just going to softly brush over the top of that YR12 and bring it up just a little bit. And then same for over here, we're going to brush over this line. And then we want to fill it in with our Y32. And I think I'll take my YR12 and add those lines back in, just so you can see them a little bit better. That. And then we'll go down here and we'll do her apron. So again, I'm going to start with my YR12. Let's go ahead and just do the straps, so we don't have to worry about those anymore. And then for the bodice, let's go away from our plants. And then we'll add YR21. And then Y32. And for the apron down the bottom, let's do Y12 down the side. So let's go right down this side. And then down this side. And then I want to give it some little wrinkles here. So let's go, there's kind of bumps up right here. So I'm going to go ahead and do one right there. And then let's do another one right beside this pocket. And then for the bottom of the pocket, I want to add a little bit of this color. Whoops, sorry about that. Dropped my pen. Then we'll do YR21. So I want to soften those edges. So let's start over on this side. And we're just going to go right down that last color. And let's bring it along the bottom of that pocket. And continue bringing this over here. And then we're going to take our Y32, let's fill in this pocket real quick, and we want to brush that up. So let's go like this and brush it right up to this little string on her apron. I think I'll grab my YR21 again and just add a little bit more of that. And then go over that again with our Y32. Then I want to add those wrinkles back in a little bit, so I'm going to grab my YR12 and put those back on. Then we'll take our R24 and we'll do the little ruffles on top of our pocket. So I wasn't worried about coloring over those because I'm just going to fill them in. And then this cute little ribbon right here. And it's really small, so be careful. Let's work on the flower pots next. For that, we're going to use E29, 27, 08, YR27, and YR24. I'm going to start with my E29, and let's start with this pot up here that's she's holding. So let's go ahead and brush a little bit of this our E29 away from the edge. Go a little bit around these fingers. And then we're going to go right next to her body. And then I'm going to add E27. And then E08. And this one's a little bit smaller, so we're going to finish this one with our YR27. Then I'm going to go back with my E27, and I want to draw some little lines in here. So let's just go over here. That. And we'll go down here and let's do these. So again, we're going to start with our E29. And let's start with this one right here on the bottom. And we'll just add a little bit of this along the edge. And then we'll add a little bit of our E27. And then E08. And then YR27. And then our YR24 to fill it in. And then again, like the other pot, I'm going to take my my E27, and I'm going to draw some little lines. Make it look like it's got some streaks here. Then for the bigger pot, let's again start with our E29. And we're going to go away from the edge again. And then over here, there's a little bit of the upper pot showing above this little flower here. And then we'll do E27. Go the rest of the way around this flower. E08. YR27. And then our YR24 to fill it in. And then I'm going to add streaks again with my E27. And then we'll go over here and get these two. So again, let's do our E29 first. Let's go up here and do this one too. And this one, the line kind of stops, so I'm going to kind of bring it right here and pretend that's the edge. we're going to add E27. Go around these little flowers. And then we're going to add E08. And then YR27. And then we'll fill it in with our YR24. On this little pot here, you can see the back of the pot, so I'm going to color that in. And then we'll take our E27, and again, I'm going to add some streaks to mine. Let's do some leaves now. For that, we're going to use YG67 and G40. And let's go ahead and start on this plant right here that's all leaves. And I'm going to do my YG67 first. So let's do right in the middle of each one of these leaves. There's a little oval or teardrop thing in the middle of them, so I'm just kind of coloring over that. And work our way down to the bottom. Some of these are pretty small, so I'm just giving a little bitty dab. And then I'm going to take my G40 and fill those in. And maybe I'll go down this side first so I make sure I don't miss any. This side. Okay. And then we're going to pop over here and do this one. Has a few flowers on it. This one up here. So our leaves. I'm going to do YG67. And so we're going to find the leaves in here. And the leaves have a little stripe on the middle. So I'm just going to go ahead and use that as my spot to put some color. And then this little guy right here has these little ones that are kind of poking up. So I'm going to go ahead and just fill those in. And then we're going to add G40 to these up here. Here. And then let's hop up here and do the leaves on this one with our YG67. Just got a few in here and then a couple down here. That. And then let's do on this one here, it's kind of got some open space in here. So I'm just going to take my YG67 and in between the petals or the flowers, I'm just going to kind of dot around in here and add a little bit of green so it doesn't look so empty. And then I'm going to take my G40 and do the same thing. I didn't really worry if I colored I dotted onto the flowers because we're going to color those, so I wasn't too stressed about if I got a little bit on there. G40 is pretty light, so it's not going to show up too much. There's a leaf I forgot. So let's color these flowers right here red. So we're going to do R89, R24, and R43. I'm going to start with R89, and there's some little dots here in the middle, so I'm just going to dot my pin around on those. Nothing too fancy. And then I'm going to do the same thing with R24. I'm just going to dot those in the middle. And then I want to fill them in with our R43. Being careful not to get my pink outside of the lines. Let's make this little petal in here. And I think I'll add a little pink around those leaves because it looks kind of off with them like that. And then I'm going to take my R89 and just dot again a little bit in the middle. And then let's go up here and color these in her arm the same color because they look the same. So take your R89 and dot some in the middle. And then we'll do R24. And then again, we'll fill them in with our R43. And again, I'm going to try to be careful not to get my pink outside of my lines here. At least not on my girl. And over here. And then again, I'll take my R89 and just dot it around here in the middle a little bit. So let's add some blue to these flowers down here in this big pot. And for that, we're going to use B97 and 34. I'm going to start with B97, and let's just dot some in here. And I'm going to try to do like the center of some of these. And I'm not going to do every one because I'm going to do some of them with some orange and yellow. You could color them all blue if you wanted. And then I'm going to take my B34 and with those ones I gave the blue dots, I'm going to go back and just brush over the top and kind of fill in the leaves or the petals. And if I don't fill them all the way in, that's fine, because they're pretty small, so you're going to have to just dab it around in there. And let's see, how about this one? They're so small that it's kind of hard for me to see which petals I put the blue dot in. Gonna have to get new glasses. So for the rest of the flowers up here, let's use YR18 and Y15. So I'm going to take my YR18 and I'm just going to dot in the middle of those leftover flowers. At least try to find a bunch of the yellow ones here. And then I'm going to take my Y15 and just fill those in. And just like last time, if I don't fill them all the way in, that's great. If I get a little bit over the side, that's cool too, because they are really small. I'm feeling very squinty as I color them. And I think I'll dot just a little bit of this in some of these white spaces that I had. just to kind of fill those in a little bit. Okay, like that. And then we're also going to use these colors on these little flowers. So let's grab our YR18, and we're going to want to do, I want to do the bottoms of these because they're like little daffodils. So we're going to do just the bottom. With this one, that one. And then we're going to take Y15 to fill those in. So we're going to do the tops. Let's hop over here and do the watering can. For that, we're going to use C9, 7, 5, and 3. And I'm going to start with my C9. And let's do a little dab of that here in the center of the spout. And then we're going to do a little bit along the edge. And over here, we're going to do where it's kind of pouring out. And then give it kind of a little V. And then let's do this handle a little bit. And this side. Over here, and I'm going to do a little bit up here by your hand too. And then for the pot, let me turn this a little bit. Let's go right along the edge, and then along this edge. And then we're going to grab C7. So let's go ahead and add a little bit to our spout. And then we'll do a little dab in here. And then we'll add a little bit more to our handle. And then for the bucket part, I'm going to brush a little bit away from this line and this side. And then we're going to add C5. So let's go ahead, since I got it turned, let's go ahead and do this center for bucket. I think I'll do a little bit on the inside right here. And then let's fill in this side and this little handle. That. And then we'll grab our C3 to fill it the rest of the way in. So let's go ahead and do the top. And then we're going to brush this right over the top of these. And then let's fill in over here. And she's got a little bow or something tied right here on the handle. I never did color that, but you could color it some color. Maybe I'll grab my red and color it in. But I didn't color it on the card that I already made. I just completely forgot about it. Okay, so I'm going to grab, it's looking a little streaky, so I'm going to grab my C5 again and add a little bit of that. And then go over it with my C3 again. Okay, so that little bow, let's see. We have some grays out. I'm going to hop down here and do this little shovel or the spade. So for that, we're going to use C7, C3, and C1. And for the handle, we're going to use E44. I'm going to go ahead and color that in right now with our E44. And then we're going to grab C7. And then C3. And then we'll fill it in with our C1. So let's give her something to stand on here. Zoom out a little bit further so I can get more area there. So for the grass down here, we're going to use YG99, YG67, G85, YG61, and G40. I'm going to start with my YG99, and let's do a few streaks underneath each of these little grasses. And up here under the pot, and her shoe. I'm trying not to color her foot. I can totally see that happen, me doing that. Like right now. Okay, be careful there, Heather. Okay, then we'll go over here, we'll do this one. And then on my stamped image, I cut it smaller, so this little grass here and this little grass here probably won't even show up on your piece. But because since it's already on here, I have a little bit bigger piece of paper so I can hold on to it. So we'll just go ahead and color those in. Okay. Then we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to add YG67. Let's go. And just work our way across. Be careful not to color that spade's handle. And I think I'll bring this up just a little bit next to this pot here. Maybe fill in a few of these little empty spaces. And then we're going to add G85, and we're just going to do the same thing. And then we'll do YG61. Get around this handle here. And I'm trying to fill in some of these white spots that I have. And then we'll do G40. So my G40, I'm just going to go over the entire area. So I've made sure that I have colored in all of that white. And this will help blend some of those streaks out too. Okay, and then I want to add some grass. So I'm going to do my YG99. And I'm going to go ahead and go over all of these pieces of grass that are already here. Work our way over to this side. And maybe this side over here. And then I want to add a little bit of my YG67 to those two. Let's go ahead and start over here, and I'm going to make them maybe a little bit taller. So there is our cute and adorable Pippa Loves to Plant. Didn't she turn out cute? And again, here is my finished card. So on this finished card, I didn't add any sparkles this time. I should have maybe added some up here to these flowers, some Stickle Stardust or some of my Wink of Stella brush pen, but I just didn't add any sparkles, even to her hair. So on the card, the only thing I popped up this time is this little sentiment, and then everything else is just tacked down to the card. And this little die here is a new La La Land crafts die called Loopy Doily Border, and that is available in the store if you would like to pick one of those up. It's really cute, and it cut out just easy. All these little spots just fell right out. I love that. I hate spending an hour poking the little holes out. That's not very fun. So I hope you had fun coloring with me today. If you have a question, leave me a comment and I will make sure to get back to you. Otherwise, we will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.